There's the who are, of course, on tour in Australia at the moment. It's our great pleasure to have Dave Palmer and Matt Johnson with us this evening. A while since you've seen that video.
Oh, years. I'm just remembering that girl. She was only about 15 at the time.
And a lovely lady.
Very nice, very nice.
You're playing Australia. How is it to be back, firstly, and playing live, secondly?
It's great to be back. I like Australia. It's got a good vibe. I like Sydney. Very optimistic kind of atmosphere to it. And good to be playing live, because I've never played live before, so it's a new experience for me, but it's good.
Some would say Sydney's a very arrogant town, but what makes it stand out?
They're more arrogant than Sydney could ever hope to be, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think Sydney's...
I don't either, no.
Not compared to London or New York, it's not...
They're really receptive.
They are receptive, I think they're good.
The $64,000 question is why it has taken you so long to mount your first world tour.
Dave?
No, it hasn't taken so long. I think the time's right. The time was right for Matt to tour, and it wasn't right before. He needed to go out and he needed to do the videos for Infected and stuff like that. And we got the band together, and that was the most important thing with James and Johnny. That, you know, it's very important to get things right.
I mean, I was prepared to wait for 20 years to get the right band, and now we've got the right band. We're going to stay together for years.
Well, speaking of arrogance, if I may be so bold, I mean, you're quoted as saying it's the best band in the whole wide world.
It is. I'm a very modest guy as well. I think
a man of few words.
There's no good bands around. I mean, most bands are pretty awful now. I mean, there aren't any good bands around at all. Most bands now that are being like hyped up as being the bands of the era could have existed 15 or 20 years ago. They're musically, artistically, lyrically, absolutely redundant. But I think they are of their time and for their time. And our time is for the 90s. I mean, we're the only relevant band around. I mean, we're dealing with issues, contemporary issues. Musically, lyrically, we're confronting things. It's the versus the world.
Yeah,
and we're sticking together.
It's a difficult job as well. It's a responsibility.
It's a responsibility, and Dave is handling the responsibility very well.
An interesting title for a tour, the versus the world. I mean, you really feel at odds with the whole...
Oh, yeah. We're sticking together. We're kindred spirits that have gravitated towards each other with a sense of purpose. I do really think that we're against the music industry, all other bands, politics. Mediocrity, generally. We attack mediocrity.
Is there any redeeming feature in anything else at all out there?
No, nothing. There are no redeeming features in anything in the world apart from us.
Our audience are going to be diving for the razor blades, are we?
Your audience are cool, they know what's going on.
You mentioned Johnny Marr, best known for his work with the Smiths, I guess, and also Brian.
I think Johnny's watching now, actually.
Is he?
Misbehaving. I think he's probably drunker than we are.
How did he, thank you for saying that, how did he get to become a member of the...
How did he get to become a member of the...
Well, is he a full-on member? Or
yeah. He elected himself. Yeah? No, what happened was... Johnny and me go ways back, and me and Dave go ways back. We all go a long way back, and we just waited for the right time. You know, he was very unhappy in his last group. He was very depressed being in his last group. And when I decided to form a group, I needed a great guitarist, and he was a great guitarist without a group. The best. And it just kind of happened.
Well, I won't argue with you about that. Let's see some contemporary relevant music for the 90s. Just while you dive for the razor blades.
Have you got to gravitate to me?
This is the Beaten Generation.
No, I don't want to watch it.
I want to watch the Beaten Generation. This is the roll it, Maggie. The Beaten Generation, a very youthful.
We were very young then. It was only about 6 months ago, but we've aged considerably.
3 weeks into the tour.
3
Grey
weeks
hair.
into the tour.
The cracks are beginning to show.
The cracks are beginning to show. The tour is degenerated. We started off very strict, disciplined, but we've degenerated in these like liberal-minded, hedonistic, horrible people that I never thought we'd become, particularly him.
You said you never. I mean, you put off touring for so long, and when you finally saw audiences there, kind of mouthing the words and that, you said you really underestimated the power of playing live.
I did actually. It's added a new dimension to my work in a way. It's very difficult when you're working on your own all the time. The only feedback that I had was from my family, my friends, record company, and say the media, and every opinion I've mentioned is very biased. And to actually, the only true opinion that you really get is from your audience. I mean, they're the people that actually pay money to buy the stuff,
Sure.
and they're the people that give you the feedback back. And it has been a new experience, and it's
a
been quite fun.
spontaneous reaction
It
as
is
well. I mean, you know, you wait around, you finish a recording of an album, then you sit there for like weeks and months biting your nails and thinking, right, how's it going to be received? You go out there, you play live, and that's it, and you know. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Well, the raves on the concert are terrific. There's been an extra Sydney show added for tomorrow night. We'll have a look at the dates. There you go, Sydney Salinas, which is August the, what is it now?
The 6th.
6th, yeah. So Salinas in Sydney tomorrow, and you go up to Adelaide, or down to Adelaide, and
We're doing 2 in Perth, actually.
Yeah, we're doing 2 shows.
okay, well, there's an extra show in Perth. Check your local gig guide and go and see the critics on site, as always.
Yeah, I mean, Australia's always been good to me, and New Zealand anyway, from the early days, probably before Britain or anywhere. Well, Canada actually as well, Australia, New Zealand were receptive to my records before anywhere else, so I do feel a kind of warmth there. And I had a great time last time I was here. I caused loads of trouble,
Yes.
and got into, and then now I'm picking up. I'm
Paying dividends.
well, paying the dividends, or actually tasting the fruit of my.
Well, we won't go into that. I hear that the new video, which we don't have, is a fairly saucy one. So
It's completely pornographic, and I don't know if it's going to be shown in New Zealand, because New Zealand is quite strict. They banned some of my early videos, but it's very rude. I'm very pleased with it. It's a very strong, powerful video.
Major steps.
wonderful.
Major steps we do.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in, gentlemen.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Appreciate your time. Look forward to the rest of the shows in Australia, and thanks for electing Australia to be on the initial run through the world.
Oh, no.
Great.
Good stuff.